evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So a few things that have been going on, and in case you missed it, yes, we are absolutely living in the end times right now. The end of everything we know, the end of the status quo, the end of what you guys have been used to. You have less than 48 hours to comply. That's what Donald Trump is saying. No, it's not me saying it, guys. This is what Donald Trump's saying. He's saying there's less than 48 hours to comply with his global demands. Also, in the United Kingdom, tomorrow, not Donald Trump, we wish. In the United Kingdom tomorrow, Keir Starmer he's chairing a cabinet meeting in the Cabinet Office Briefing Room Alpha, better known to you and me as Cobra. And that Cabinet Office, that meeting tomorrow is going to be in regards to the situation in Iran. Right, look, guys, before we get onto this, let's just just so everybody, like, if you've got that, you know, if you're only going to watch for the first couple of minutes, that's absolutely fine. As long as you've liked and commented and subscribed down below, that's great. No, things are not going to get better. No, there's not going to be a diplomatic solution to the problems that we've got right now. No, Keir Starmer and David... Oh, did you see that? Sorry, I'll share it with you guys in a minute. No, Keir Starmer and David Lammy, the two most leading Jesus, say that to yourselves. Right, guys, how did we get to, like, how did a country that colonized most of the world, that created the steam engine, created the internal combustion engine, created the jet engine, how did we get to a situation where we have David Lammy as deputy in charge of the country and Keir Starmer in charge of the country? I don't know, but that's, you know, regardless of the path, that's where we are right now. So no, we're not going to find a political solution out of this. No, things are not going to get better in the Middle East. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, because very soon nobody's going to be talking about what's happening in the Middle East. Everybody is going to be talking about what's happening in Ukraine. However, the crux of this live stream, I'm going to be talking about what's happening right now in Iran. I'm going to be talking about Donald Trump's latest threats. I'm going to be talking about the Iranian response. And I'm going to let everyone know right now, get your energy, like, get yourself some energy security, whatever that is. I don't know. I really don't know what that is, guys. Batteries, gas, electric, whatever you guys can get right now, because I can guarantee with a high degree of confidence that some point this year the electricity will go off. We will be on staged electricity in the United Kingdom. Yes, I said it. So let's get into the first bit first. Like, it's always good to do the first bit first, and then I'll come on to the condiments afterwards. So President, in fact, let me get this. Joe, I'm going to share this video first, actually. So earlier on today, there was a video shared. I can't remember who shared it. But it's basically a skit, like one of those little comedy videos. Yeah, I'll share it with you. So DJT, not that one. DJT has just absolutely, like, look, whatever you think about Donald Trump, at least he's funny, right? At least he's hilarious. Let me share this with you guys to start with. Sorry, I don't usually start with a video, but I am today. So this is a video right now shared on Donald Trump's official Truth Social.
Oh, golly.
This is literally being shared by Donald Trump, the most powerful man in the world.
Well, what if Donald shouts at me? What do I say, Lammy?
Just be yourself, Prime Minister. Yourself is who everyone likes.
Hello? Oh, sod that scary, wonderful president. Why is he so blubber difficult to talk to?
Sir, just be honest and tell him we can't...
Guys, listen, if you're watching from, like, and you're not in the United Kingdom right now, this is not really comedy. This is how we live day to day in the United Kingdom right now. We are on a slippery slope, and we are. If anyone's ever been on like a military. Not even a military. If anyone's ever been on a long on a long pole, has anyone ever been on a long pole? Like what's like a fireman's pole, but like a really big one. When you start going down it, you start going slow, and then you gather speed, and by the time you get to the bottom, if you don't go down slowly, it's difficult. That's where we are. We are gathering speed, and we are only heading one way in the United Kingdom, and it's nowhere good that we're heading.
And any more ships to the Strait of Hormuz.
Oh, crumbs. I just hate conflict so much.
Are you referring to the war or this phone call?
Isn't there a way I can not do both? I just want to keep him happy, Lammy. You don't understand him like I do. I can change him.
I don't think the feeling's mutual. He can't stop insulting you. He called you a coward.
I'm out of my depth here, Lammy. How did Liz Truss make this job look so easy?
Right, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want to watch that, go and look at Donald Trump's page. This is how bad things are right now. Britain is quite literally, if you live in Britain right now, we are a global laughingstock right now, and for good reason, guys, for good reason. And look, I don't agree, and I absolutely oppose literally everything that's happening in this country right now. Bar, there's nothing I don't disagree with that's happening in the United Kingdom right now. However, this is where we are. This is what we've got. Keir Starmer as our leader, our commander-in-chief, and David Lammy, his second in command. Hang on. Let me. Oh, hang on a minute. Googleinos is saying Iran has issued a list. Oh, hang on. Let me put that up, actually. Googleinos is saying, thank you for the super, Googleinos. Googleinos is saying Iran has issued a list of energy and power plant targets in the Gulf states. Yeah. You guys know what's coming, right? You guys know listen, guys. I did a video earlier on for the members. You've literally got less than 48 hours right now before this kicks off. So let me give you my opening monologue. I'll then jump back onto the chat and I will tell you how dependent the United Kingdom is, and it's quite terrifying, how dependent the United Kingdom is on gas. And don't forget, guys, when the gas gets turned off, the sulfur gets turned off. When the sulfur gets turned off, the fertilizer gets turned off. When the fertilizer gets turned off, guess what? Yeah, the food gets turned off. And all this is happening right now. Right now, this has happened. We're not making this up. This is not my speculation, analysis, or opinion. That tap has been closed, ladies and gentlemen, and you guys have got 48 hours. 48 hours before the outcome happens. So President Donald Trump dropped, and I shared this earlier on the live stream this morning. President Donald Trump has dropped an absolute bombshell ultimatum on his Truth Social in regards to Iran, not Japan, Iran. Open the Strait of Hormuz fully and without any threats within the next 48 hours, or the United States will launch strikes to hit and obliterate Iran's power plants, and we'll start with the biggest one first. He posted this last night directly onto his Truth social media platform, just before midnight, I guess. From his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. The clock is now ticking, ladies and gentlemen. So that is like 11. So it was like just before midnight last night. So we're almost a day up. So Monday night. So tomorrow night, that's your 48 hours done. Tomorrow night, just before midnight, 48 hours done. If Raven maths serves me right. Now, this is the latest twist in the war that's already dragged on for nearly 4 weeks, just over 3 weeks, but almost 4 weeks, I guess, since the United States and Israel started their airstrikes at the end of February. That narrow choke point that we all seem to be experts about now. Everybody seems to be experts about the Strait of Hormuz, right? Can you remember when I was talking about the Strait of Hormuz years back? Nobody was listening. I was getting 3 views. And now all of a sudden, everybody is an expert on the Strait of Hormuz. Everybody knows the geography. Everybody knows the seasons of the weather. Everybody knows, everybody knows the tidal system. Everybody knows how those aircraft operate in extreme hot temperatures. Everybody knows the oil expansion rates. Everybody knows all this stuff. All of a sudden, everybody's an expert. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, they'll all be experts on Karg Island, then they'll all be experts on Estonia, but you guys heard it here first, right? So, like we know, 1/5 of the world's oil, gas, effectively moves through the Strait of Hormuz. That has been, that has been closed now by the Iranians in the context that the Iranians now dictate who can move through the Strait of Hormuz, which is sending energy prices rocketing. And remember, guys, when energy goes up, manufacturing stops. That is the reality. Like, if you guys want to look at Germany, if you want to look at Germany, when the Nord Stream, was it Nord Stream or Nord Stream 2? I think it was Nord Stream. When the pipeline from Russia to Germany got blown up, by unknown circumstances, when the pipeline blew up by unknown circumstances that was feeding Germany, that right there was an end to German heavy manufacturing. That was it, guys. That's an end to German heavy manufacturing, because without that cheap energy, without that cheap supply of gas, you can't fuel those furnaces. You can't turn those turbines. Here in the United Kingdom, British households and businesses, excuse me, we're being hit hard. Trump's exact words were pretty blunt and unmistakable. Trump, if Iran doesn't open up without threat, within 48 hours, it's going to be game over. Literally game over for the Iranian energy grid. The United States will obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest first. Donald Trump is framing this as a way to end the blockade quickly. Not going to happen, guys. Not going to happen. Listen, don't listen to what anyone else is saying except from me. If they're saying exactly the same as me, that's fine. But, if they're deviating, then they don't know what they're talking about. Now, Donald Trump is insisting the conflict is already militarily won and that Iran is holding global energy supplies hostage. U.S. forces, including Marines and landing craft, are reportedly moving into the region, and officials have called power infrastructure legitimate targets if Iran doesn't comply. Now, just put this into context, right? The next time you see like Donald Trump say, yep, all the military targets have been dealt with. We've destroyed all their military targets. They're done. They're over. They've got no military left. And then the Iranians fire a shitload of missiles. Like, can you imagine how when you're in the military, right? They tell you go on these career courses. It's very clear you don't lie to your blokes, right? Because if you start lying to people or waffling to them or bullshitting them, they just don't believe you, right? They don't believe you. So it's very clear. From the first day you do your first career course in the military, don't lie, don't bullshit your blokes, and you will get their trust, right? That's what's happening. However, what we have right now in the Middle East, with the United States especially, is something very peculiar. Donald Trump is saying that the Iranian military is destroyed, it's over, it's finished, it's done, it's not coming back, at the same time as the Iranian military are launching long-range missile strikes and causing havoc and mayhem. So, look, you guys take from that what you want. Do you believe Donald Trump when he tells you that the Iranian military is over, it's done, it's finished, it's not coming back? Or do you look at the missiles being fired from Iran and think, oh, well, that must be, those missiles coming over must be fake news. Yeah, you're right, DJT. Look, guys, I'm totally Team Trump. I'm Team West. I am. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't want to know in particular. I'm just telling you guys what we're seeing and what's coming next. Now, Iran's response to Donald Trump threatening to destroy their, to destroy their energy grid, basically. Iran's response has been defiant, immediate, and full of counter threats. No sign whatsoever in backing down. And look, I need to keep saying this because some people send me messages and they're saying, oh, Sean, you're a pro-Iran troll. You're a pro. I'm not. I'm telling you guys the truth, right? And it's totally fine if you guys don't want to listen to the truth and you want to have your heads blinking. La da la da la da la da la. Everything is awesome. Everything is fun when you're part of a team. That's absolutely fine, guys, if you want to do that. The reality is you're not going to be able to defeat Iran without having boots on the ground. And that is a bitter pill to swallow for anyone. I keep giving this scenario. I do. I keep giving this scenario. Imagine right now that the Americans say, yep, we have defeated Iran. Their military is destroyed. We have won. We're leaving now. And as they're sailing off, Iran says, no. Get back here. Get back here. Get back here. We've not finished with you yet. Fires a load of missiles, destroys a couple of ships, more missiles into Israel, more missiles into the desalination plants in Israel. Like, at what point do they say, oh, yeah, the military is not done. The military is not over. Guys, there is no way out of this now without boots on the ground, all right? And when boots are on the ground, it's going to be hard work for everyone. It is. It's going to be hard work for everyone because as soon as you get boots on the ground in Iran, you get liberal lefties. Oh, no, you've got to be, oh, no, you're fighting a war, but you've got to show them their human rights. You're fighting a war, but you've got to look at, you've got to apply with international law. And that's where it's going to go. And as terrifying, as funny, as paradoxical as that seems, right? As paradoxical as that seems, that's the reality. And look, if this was like Keir Starmer, can you imagine Keir Starmer sending British troops? He'd be like, yes, send British troops and two legal teams behind them. They will take them to prison when they finish. Go win that war. And there'll be like a barrister behind them making notes. Now, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps fired back on Sunday, literally today, with a stark warning. If the United States strikes Iranian power plants or energy sites, Iran will completely close the Strait of Hormuz, turning the current partial disruption into a total shutdown. And it won't reopen until our own damaged facilities are rebuilt. They went further. Yes, they did. They went further. Any attack on Iranian infrastructure would make US and allied energy assets across the Gulf, including oil facilities, desalination plants, and I'll come on to those desalination plants in a little bit, IT systems, water infrastructures in countries hosting American bases, lawful targets for retaliation. Companies with US ties could be completely destroyed, they said. Now, the Israelis, they rely heavily on desalination plants for their water. Listen, guys, I know we've got a few people on the chat from Israel. Like, get yourself some water now, because look, guys, I don't mean to be like overly brutal. If I was Iran, and look, before anybody says, oh, but Sean's saying he would do that. Yeah, no, what I'm doing is I'm taking myself out of the situation. I'm looking at the situation objectively and thinking, what would I do if they were my enemy? And right now, if I was Iran, my next target would be the desalination plants in Israel. And guys, look, I'm not like saying, yeah, go on, Iran, destroy those desalination plants, let those women and children. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that is what I believe the next target will be. That's what I would do. I would have done it a while ago, actually. In fact, it would have been one of my first things I would have hit. So that's where I think this is going. Like, can you imagine being in the Middle East? If you've ever been in the Middle East, it gets a little bit hot, right? Can you imagine being in the Middle East, no aircon? Yeah, no aircon and no water. Not a good day, guys. That is not a good day. You will cause a humanitarian crisis in Israel. Absolutely, there will be a humanitarian crisis in Israel if those desalination plants are hit. And they're big, right? They're big. They're open. They're relatively undefended. The Iranians can strike these desalination plants with their long-range missiles. Absolutely. So I do think that would be the next strike. And for anyone who sat there thinking, oh, but why is this escalating? I'll give you a little answer, guys. This is a war. All right. This is a war. People fight in wars. Like, I think people are too used to watching wars on the TV where people are like having cracking little jokes. No. Wars are dark. They're brutal. They hurt people, and people go to the candy shop. And when you go to the candy shop, they got you spending all you got, and you don't come back from that candy shop, guys, until you've spent all you've got. So it does look like that's going to happen. And look, guys, I'll throw this out there as well. If I was Iran right now, I'd just start striking those targets now anyway. I mean, they're in the war now, right? There's no going back. So in most conflicts, the team, the side, the person who escalates their violence to 10 quickest, they're usually the ones who come out on top. However, Iran's president has dismissed Donald Trump's threat dismissed Donald Trump's ultimatum as threats of terror, and only rally the Iranian unity. The parliament speaker and military spokesperson echoed, vowing irreversible hits on regional energy if Tehran is targeted, with all oil prices already set to surge higher than they have done I think this is the highest they've ever been, right? No opening of the Strait of Hormuz is being reported yet. Shipping remains heavily at risk, with the recent explosions near vessels adding to the chaos. Markets on the edge, oil prices elevated. The risk of a wider war it's not just here, guys. This is what's happening right now. Like I keep saying, we are witnessing the asteroid hitting the asteroid hitting the ocean, right? The water's gone out and we're waiting for that tsunami. Here in Britain, higher energy costs, supply chains are strained, the spiraling, the downward spiral that we're on right now. We will see steeper bills. The government say they're watching closely, but with what's left of NATO minus the United States looking at Ukraine, doesn't seem like there's much we can do. And you know what, guys? There isn't much we can do at all. This is high stakes brinksmanship on both sides. We literally have, I don't even know how much time we have now. It's certainly less than 48 hours. So whatever time we have, if you guys are in Israel right now, please take my advice. If you're in Israel, go and get as much water as you can. And I don't mean, and I'm not saying, listen, I know you guys know this anyway, right? If it was me and I was sat in Iran I would say, right, okay, let's keep firing our missiles and drones and try and take out those desalination plants. Stop their water supply. 3 to 5 days. Yeah, you guys know what happens, right? In 3 to 5 days if you don't get water. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you guys know I am a little bit, paranoid about running out of water. I've been in the Middle East before, northeast Syria. I think the town was called Amuda. I was stuck in Amuda for 24 hours. I had 2 liters of water. Yeah, and obviously I didn't die. I was very thirsty. But the psychological problems that you get, especially in the Middle East, especially how the weather now, especially in Israel, the weather's starting to pick up. In a couple of months, it's going to be unbearable outside, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. And without water, without electricity, you guys are literally going to be cooked. Right, now, I said I was going to talk to you guys briefly about the energy supply in the United Kingdom. So I did a quick search earlier. So gas, all right? I don't mean put your respirators on. The global gas supply, it's diddly swizzled, guys. It's diddly swizzled, right? The global gas supply, it's broken. Right now, it is absolutely broken. So I know what you guys are thinking, right? Oh, I don't need gas to turn my electricity on. I don't need gas. My cooker's electric. Unfortunately, guys, all electricity comes from either gas, nuclear, or coal. But I don't think we have any coal plants in the United Kingdom anymore. So it's either gas or nuclear. And in the United Kingdom, it's mostly gas. Now, I asked AI earlier how much of the UK's energy is reliant on gas imports. So gas imports, right? So, and this is the answer that AI gave me. So when we're worried about gas going, the price of gas, this is what we know. This is what AI is telling me. The United Kingdom is heavily reliant on gas imports, with roughly half of its gas supply now sourced from abroad. So roughly half of our gas is gone. So, like, doing Raven maths, right? If we're getting no more gas and we're only getting our own gas and we need to import 50%, that means that we are going to have 50% power cuts. So that means Raven maths, half of the gas means half of a day. Half of a day is 12 hours. So now that's saying to me, we're going to be doing with 12 hours of, we're only going to get 12 hours of electricity, right? No, that's not the full story, because critical infrastructure, hospitals, police stations, military, they will need 24-hour gas supply. So they will take priority, right? Maybe go and charge your phone up in the hospital or something. They will take priority. So I would say we're looking at 6 hours a day gas. That's Raven maths, okay? Aim for 6 hours a day of electricity, right? So like I said, the United Kingdom relies on half of its gas supply, which is now sourced from overseas due to declining North Sea production, while domestic, Norwegian and US supplies are key. Nearly 44% of all energy in the United Kingdom in 2024 was imported. So that's 44% of all energy, not just gas, making the nation sensitive to international price volatility. In 2025, around 47.1% of the UK's gas came from Norway, with a significant amount also arriving from the United States. Again, when we talk about gas and oil and petrol and diesel coming from Norway, they're getting that from our oil fields, right? They're getting that from the North Sea, but we're not allowed to get that because of the trees, not the trees. If you're joining for the first time, guys, one of the analogies that I give about the North Sea oil I say to people, like, oh, what does this mean, Sean? The North Sea oil and Norway are getting the gas and then they're sending it to us. And what does that mean? I'm like, right, okay. Imagine you've got a house and you've got an apple tree in your garden and they're beautiful apples, beautiful red apples. September, October, November time, they're beautiful, red and juicy. And I just want to nibble. I just want to nibble those bad boys. And imagine, like, early November, your kids are like, Dad, can we go and get some apples? And you're like, no. We can't get any of those apples on our tree. And they're like, oh, why not? But that's our tree. And you're like, yeah, we've got to save that tree. We want that tree to flourish, and we want to be a net zero family. We don't want to pick apples off our own tree. No. So like, oh, right, okay. Where do we go for apples then, Dad? And you go, oh, just go next door and ask them. And they're like, oh, yeah, we've come for some apples. Yeah, okay. So then next door, send their kids out. They jump over the fence. They go into your garden. Your kids are watching them and they're picking apples off your apple tree, putting them in a basket, little wicker basket with a little handle. They're putting these, and your kids are looking and they're looking at you as your dad, and you're like, net zero. Anyway, and then their kids, after they've got the apples from your apple tree, jump back over the fence, go to the house, give them a little rinse down, and then they sell them to your kids at a massive profit. And then your kids say to you, Dad, let me get this right. Yes, kids. So we're not allowed to get apples off our tree because we're protecting it. Exactly. We are going to be a net zero apple family. Right. But we still eat apples. Oh, yeah, we still eat apples. But we still get apples from our apple tree. No. Next door neighbors' kids get the apples off our apple tree, and we pay them for that. That's pretty much what explaining the North Sea oil is like. It's just so ridiculous, guys. Anyway, right, okay, so I'm going off track. Right. Crux of this live stream, ladies and gentlemen, we have quite considerably less than 48 hours now before Donald Trump has to make good on his promise. Donald Trump has to make good on his promise to strike the Iranian energy grid. The Iranians then will need to reply in kind. Why wouldn't you? Like, why? You're in a war right now. The safety catches off. Do you know one of the hardest things? To get soldiers to do? Start shooting. Believe it or not, guys, it's really difficult to get soldiers to start shooting. It's probably the hardest thing to get soldiers to do. Do you know what the second hardest thing is? Getting them to stop, right? Once you've bridged that river and everyone's shooting, it's very difficult to get them to stop. Right, let me jump onto the chat, guys, because we've got 7, 8, we've got 9 updates that have been we've got 9 updates since we came on here. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, if you are joining for the first time, make sure you hit those buttons down below, the like, comment, subscribe, bell notification. I am literally the only person in the whole of the internet who tells people what's happening long before it happens. Long before it happens. The videos I give you guys that I say what's happening, what's going to happen in the future, they don't get that many views because people are like, oh, that makes no sense. But then when it happens, I talk about it and people are like, oh, by the beard of Zeus and Odin's eye. Yeah, Raven was right. So make sure you hit those buttons down below, ladies and gentlemen. Scottish Lass Jack has become a new member. Welcome to the team, Scottish Lass Jack. I hope you're going to be a powerful member. I really do. And Google Enos is saying, Sean, look at the photos on X. Right, guys, I will. I'm literally jumping on the chat right now, guys. Right, I'm going to look at these. Right, I'm literally going on X now. Yeah, it's gone crackers, guys. The world has gone crackers. Right, listen, if you are on, remember those things, okay? Get your energy sorted. If you live in the United Kingdom, we import almost 50% of our energy from the Middle East. That's pretty much closed off right now. You know, it is. The energy in the Middle East is pretty much closed off. So that's not going to come back online for a long time. Right, Googlinos, I will get those in a second. Let me... Hang on. Clarendon is saying, I'm not sure what the war's about. I thought oil, but apparently it's apple prices. Maybe it is apples. I don't know. We all love apples, don't we, guys? We all love apples. Kinder is saying, I know Brits are envious of how much we love America and the flag. Right, Kinder, if you're American, right, your punctuations, like what you should be saying is, I know Brits are envious of how much we love our country and our flag. Because, like, you can't refer to yourself in the as a third person. It just doesn't make sense as a sentence. But listen, I know English is not your first language. Dave Dutch is, oh, hang on. Thousands of military-age males, if shortages hits those places, there will be anarchy. People aren't sleeping on it. Yeah. Just on this, I was talking to my friend. He's literally just got back from Kiev. He got back from Kiev a couple of days ago. And I was saying to him, and we were talking about how bad things are in the United Kingdom right now. They're like, if you live in the United Kingdom, you guys know. If you live in the UK right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You go to the supermarket, and there are beautiful, diverse little gangs standing around. You might have like a Nigerian gang over there, and they've got these fancy sunglasses on and these little white vests, you know, and then you might have another gang and another gang and another gang. And then you have like the native folk. They're just scurrying around with their heads down because everybody knows that it's going to kick off at some point, guys. It really is. We are one incident. We are one, we are one headline away from full-scale civil war in the United Kingdom, guys. We are. We really are. I can't say that enough. So all this stuff that's happening in the Middle East. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Yes, we have less than 48 hours, but don't worry, because if you live in the United Kingdom, we are going to be dealing with the threat in Ukraine very soon. And it may not even be Ukraine, you know, it may be, Narva in, it may be this little town called Narva in Estonia. I spoke about this yesterday. Was it yesterday? I can't remember when it was. I spoke about this a couple of days ago. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about and you're on here for the first time, let me just do a little side quest, okay? Let me give you guys a little side quest and talk about the next phase and the next thing that's going to happen. Now, the date, I don't know what is going to happen, but the date, it's screaming out at me. The 2nd and 3rd of April. It's absolutely screaming out at me, guys. It's screaming out at me like that. If nothing happens, nothing may happen. Nothing may happen. But that date is screaming out at me. Now, from my sources in Kiev, they've been talking about this little place here. This little town here, Narva. Now, if you guys look there, you've got on the right or the east, you've got Estonia on the west, and you've got Russia on the east, and the proximity to St. Petersburg. Now, what they've been saying, this town, what's happening? I totally messed up. Don't know what happened then. Let's close that. That town there, Narva. It's an Estonian border town. what they're saying is that the Russians are pumping propaganda into Narva, and it looks like Narva could be the next People's Republic of Donetsk, the Republic of Narva, where the people of Narva, who are 80 to 90% ethnically Russian, you know, they just declare themselves independent, and then what? Russia takes another town. And then Russia keeps moving, and then you get Sputnik. You get Sputnik here over onto the, you know, a little bit further west. Now, these are things that are really happening. And if you live, like I do, in the United Kingdom, the main intent for us, this is why the British government cannot get involved in the Middle East. So I totally get any criticism on Keir Starmer, I do. And I will absolutely repeat any and all criticism on Keir Starmer, because the man is absolutely, he's out of his depth. He's out of his depth. It's not, in a sense, it's not his fault. He just doesn't know what he's doing. He was subverted from an early age. He's out of his depth, and, you know, it's kind of not his fault, but look, that's just the situation we're in right now. Right, let me jump over here, because Googly wanted me to look at some pictures on X. Right, let me find this. Right. Let me find Elon Musk's. Let me find Elon Musk. I think that's what Google is saying. Right, I'm just looking now. Elon Musk, there we are. Oh, he's changed his thumbnail. Not that one, not that one, not that one. No, that's... Oh, there we are. Is that it? No, that's not it. Right, Googling us. Can you give me a little bit more on that, on what to check? Because I'm really, I can't find it. I'm literally on Elon Musk's page now, and I can't find it. You have to pay to subscribe to Elon Musk. I'm not paying to subscribe to Elon Musk. No, I can't. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Right. Okay. I think I found. Right. Okay. I found the list. Right. So we've got the list here, guys. I'm going to share it with you. So I'm going to share with you guys now what's being reported. I don't know how credible this is, guys. I'm going to share with you guys now what is the reported list of energy targets that the Iranians may strike. So, so we've got Boeing. Right. Have I ever worked for them? Amazon. Why are they attacking Amazon? They'll be angry. Right. So I think these are the targets that... Right. Okay. So I think these are the targets that well, this is in alphabetical order, right? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Oh, no, D would be up there. I thought it was in alphabetical. It's not. Anyway, so this, a lot in Oman, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those targets are in Amman, capital of Jordan, Amman. So that looks like that is the strike. They're the potential, some of the potential strike targets that the Iranians are going to strike. Listen, I'll be honest with you. If I was the Iranians right now, I would be striking at the... if I was the Iranians, I would just go straight for the Israeli oil field, desalination plants. Yeah, we said that. So we mentioned this at the beginning of the live stream. So Keir Starmer tomorrow morning, he's going to hold an emergency Cobra meeting. In fact, actually, I think I've got footage from it here. Hang on, I think I've got footage from it here. Where is it? I think I've got footage from it here. I think this is footage from the actual. I think this is actual footage. Give me a second. So I think this is how it's going to go tomorrow. The meeting.
Look, we were worried you'd lose your nerve, so we've taken steps to help you gain unfounded confidence. Mr. Prime Minister, meet your Gen Z advisor, Lil Hoopy.
What's up, Stormzy? Bow, bow, bow.
Lil Hoopy is the most qualified person we have. He is the only person under 23 who voted Labour and would so again in the next election.
You're not voting for the Green Party?
Nah, my dad works in oil. No cap, Stormzy. I love you, and I do hearts this way with my thumb.
Thank you, Lil Hoopy.
Yeah, I think this is actual footage from. Look, guys. Okay, I know this is a joke and it's a little bit of a skit. The main thing that I want people to take away from sharing this is Britain, Keir Starmer, and David Lammy are now they're our leaders, guys. Okay, if you live in the United Kingdom, the most important man, perceivably, in the United Kingdom right now is Keir Starmer. He's the Prime Minister, right? He is the chief. He's the colonel. He's the big daddy-o. He's El Giganto. With his have you seen him on the punch bag? I have. Ferocious. Keir Starmer's number 1, and David Lammy is number 2. Yeah. That's who's guiding the ship right now in the United Kingdom. So right now, Britain has become, and rightly so, guys, we voted for this, consecutive governments, Gen Z, we got ourselves into this mess. And unfortunately, we voted our way into this. Unfortunately, guys, I'll do a video tomorrow about the civil war that's coming and the civil unrest, but we can't vote our way out of this. That's where we are right now. We're already at that situation where voting in not the next election, but the election after, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter, guys. So we've got 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So 37, I know that sounds a long way away, but 37, we will be an Islamic Republic by 2037. 2037, with the birth rates and the votes, we will be an Islamic Republic. That's where we are, guys, 2037. But yes, Donna is absolutely right. There is a emergency Cobra Cabinet Office Briefing Room Alpha, where all the top dogs go. The Cabinet Office Briefing Room Alpha. Keir Starmer is going to bring everyone in, and there's going to be a big meeting. I don't know what he's going to say. Maybe we're going to just surrender. Maybe we're just going to surrender straight away. I don't know. Hang on. I think somebody else is just... right, Googling us to say, no, Sean, not no wars. Right. World War III monitor and scroll down. Right, I'm going to go on to World War III monitor and scroll down now. Sorry, I was giving you guys... It's very difficult to get the... It's very difficult to because obviously when you guys are looking at your X feed, it will give you your own... it will give you your own, your own preferences. However, when I look at it, it'll give me my own preferences. So I'm looking at World War III monitor now. I'm scrolling down. All right, scrolling down. Is a picture? Oh. All right, okay, I've got it. I've definitely got it now. Definitely got it now. Definitely got this. Right. All right, okay. So this is what I'm assuming Iran has released as, I told you, desalination. Yep, I told you guys. Al-Zor Water Desalination Complex. Al-Dor Power and Water Station. Yeah, I said, if I was the Iranians right now, Jesus Christ. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so it does look like the Iranians are going to target the desalination plants in Israel. Again, I'd not seen this, guys. I'd not seen this. Thank you for pointing that out, Googling us. If I was the Iranians, and I'm not, I would absolutely go straight right now and say, right, okay, you enjoy firing missiles? Okay, that's fine. Do you enjoy drinking? Boom. Desalination plants gone. If you guys don't want to, this is this new dimension of warfare, right? So, you know, when you get these people, especially in the United Kingdom, you get these colonels, retired colonel, retired colonel Chumplin Manley. Yes, the British military, our missiles can destroy a target at 3,000 billion zillion miles, and we can take this down very quickly with no threat to our aircraft. Okay, how many of them missiles do you carry per aircraft? We carry 4. What are you going to, and how much do those missiles cost? They are £1.2 million each. Okay, how is your aircraft going to cope when there are 150 drones that cost like $20,000 each coming at you? The aircraft and all the munitions will end up in the bottom of the ocean. Like, they don't know what they're talking about. And this is such, like, look, guys, you guys have been following me for a while. You guys know what I'm like. The problem that we have in the West is we take advice from the wrong experts. But that's just the system, right? So think about, I want to say Keir Starmer, but I don't want to say Keir Starmer. Think about Keir Starmer, right? You know, what military experience does Keir Starmer have? Do you think it's more than me? Okay, don't hold Keir Starmer to my standards, guys. It's not going to go well for him. What I'm getting at here is the problem is Keir Starmer will say, right, what's the problem? And he will say drones. So he'll say, right, drones, what are they? He'll say, oh, they're these things that fly in the sky. And he'll say, oh, right, it flies. Right. Bring me my leading colonel in the Air Force. Bring me my leading colonel in the Air Force. And they'll say to him, how do we take these down? And the colonel or air marshal or whatever will say, oh, we do this. And Keir Starmer will say, right, the problem is they don't understand asymmetric warfare. They don't understand the Middle East. They don't understand supply and demand. They don't understand where these components come from, and they shouldn't. They like that Air Vice Marshal, Chairman, Big Cheese, whatever his name is, he should not, and I don't want him to know, where the components are soldered together for the circuit boards that go into that drone. He shouldn't know. It's a waste of his time knowing. For people like me who know where these components come from, know where the raw materials come from, understand, you know, what's going on behind the scenes, I have a better picture. That's why I give you guys such granular, detailed analysis about what is coming in the future. And I'll keep saying it, guys. I'm throwing the sword of Damocles out there, and I am tying that up with a very thin thread. Get yourselves ready for the weekend, the 2nd, 3rd, potentially 4th of April. If you live in the United Kingdom, you know, I don't know. I don't even know what's going to happen. It's very unclear to me what is going to happen, but that particular date that's a big date, guys. Okay. So yes, it does look like, and thank you for that, Googling us. It does look like the Iranians are going for the water supply. It does. It looks absolutely like the Iranians are going to the water supply. Yes, I know. Full pause to say yes. Googly says that. Guys, look, there's lots of stuff on the chat at the moment. The chat's going absolutely crackers. Right, I'm jumping down to the bottom right now. I'm at the bottom. Sean, why do you consistently demotivating people every day? Get ready for you don't know what. Sean, why are you constantly demotivating people? Get ready, get people every day. Get ready for you don't know what. Well, the reality is, I told you guys 3 years ago when Donald Trump, by the day, was going to attack Iran. I told you guys when the 12-day war was going to start. I tell you guys when everything's going to start. So I wouldn't say I'm demotivating people. What I'd say is I'm motivating people to like understand what's coming, right? Because if you know something's coming, you can block. It's like the boxer. You ask any boxer. Boxers never get knocked out by the punch they see. They see. They only get knocked out by the punches they don't see. Get ready for you don't know what. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know what's coming, but I know when it's coming. I don't know everything, guys. I don't listen. Band again. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have a crystal ball. I have an 8-ball, and it's not that accurate. Right. Right. I'm going to ask the crystal ball. Right. Crystal ball. Not crystal ball. 8-ball, magical 8-ball. Tell me now on the day of the 22nd, what's coming on the night of the 2nd or the morning of the 3rd? It says prospect good. So maybe you're going to win the lottery. I don't know. But prospect's good. I tell you guys, I don't have a crystal ball. I have an 8-ball, and it's not that accurate. Tavi Stockton is saying the only missile is Trump's wiener. Oh, that's dark. The only missiles he said thingy. Mango Chunks is saying Russia supplying Iran with mid-long range missiles as a proxy against Western forces. Yeah, I would say there's a high chance of that as well. And they might not be supplying Iran with like the missiles themselves, but they would almost certainly be supplying them with knowledge, materials, munitions, to help them. And when people, I saw Piers Morgan, and I know I've said this before, but like, have you seen the interview with Piers Morgan and this like TikTok guy? I don't know what his name is. Like this, I don't know. Anyway, apparently, Piers Morgan's wife, she likes to look, guys, from what I've seen, apparently Piers Morgan's wife has a very interesting life when Piers Morgan's not there. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, so I saw this post out, I think it was I'm pretty sure it was by Piers Morgan the other day, and he said Iran have lied about their missile capability. And I was like, yeah, that's what you do when you're in the military. You lie. Well, you lie about your capability, because guess what? You don't want the bad guys, for the Iranians, we're the bad guys. You don't want the bad guys to know what you've got and what you can do. And I was just so shocked at how like raged Piers Morgan was, that like he in his brain, he couldn't conceive that the Iranians didn't want Western militaries to understand what weapon systems they had. Like, can anyone work that out? Right, I'm jumping down again, guys, so I do apologize if I've missed anybody's comment. The chat is absolutely crackers at the moment. James is saying, CRF. CRF, I totally agree with you, buddy. It's some wild stuff going on with Piers Morgan and his wife. I'm not going to comment. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's not really, it's not really something that like, it just seems odd. James Brooke is saying, Sean, is Trump targeting Iran's internal power supply or the oil plants? I think he's going for their internal power supply. Again, I've only got the information that you guys have got, which is what he, which is what Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social. Hang on, I think I've got it here. Right. So this is what Donald Trump said. In response to James, this is what Donald Trump said, because I've got it up. If Iran doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours from this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first. So I can only assume They're going to go for like the electricity plants, like the substations and stuff. That's the only information I've got now. In a bigger context, if you make this big threat and then don't follow it through, you're going to look weak. You're just going to look weak. All right. So, you know, like in the house, you know, when the girls are being naughty, I will threaten them with the 5 kilometer walk. I don't want to do the 5 kilometer walk, you know, but if they keep being sassy, then, they're not doing as they're told. It's 5 kilometer walk. And as soon as I say to them, I know what you guys are thinking. You guys are thinking, oh God, I don't want to live in that house. As soon as I say to them, right, best behave, or it's 5, or we will go on 5 kilometer walk. They know that whether it's rain, sleet, or snow outside, if I've said that and they don't do as they're told, we're going on that 5 kilometer walk. And it's as much as a faff for me as it is for them. But if you don't follow through on those threats, like if I say to them, right, stop it or you're going on a 5 kilometer walk, and they're like, yeah, shut up, Dad. You keep saying that, but you never do it. You get anarchy, right? So you can't make threats without following them through. So a good metric is, first of all, don't make threats that you're not willing or capable to follow through. And if you make a threat, you have to follow through on it, guys. You absolutely have to follow through on it. So for context, what I know in response to the question is exactly what Donald Trump's posted. If Iran doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours from this exact point in time, the United States of America will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest first. Now, in response to this, the Iranians have fired back, saying that they will, warning that if the United States strikes the Iranian power plants or energy sites, Iran will completely close the Strait of Hormuz, turning the current partial disruption, which is a disruption for us in the West because we're not getting any of that sweet stuff, into a total shutdown, and it won't reopen until all their facilities have been rebuilt. They went further and said any attack on Iranian infrastructure would make US and allied energy assets across the Gulf, including oil facilities, desalination plants, IT systems, water infrastructure, in countries hosting American bases, all lawful targets. If I was Iran right now, I wouldn't wait for Trump. Honestly, if I was, and I'm not saying this as in like, yeah, go on Iran. I don't. I want Iran to lose. I hope Iran will lose. But how much pain is going to be, what's the pain metric going to be up until that? There's not a chance the Iranian military can stand up to the US military. The problem is the US military hasn't committed fully yet. They thought they could do this with limited airstrikes, taking out key facilities. That's just not the case. You need boots on the ground, guys. You always need boots on the ground. So if I was the Iranians right now, I would think, right, we're in a war. Let's just open this can of worms. I would go straight right now, without hesitation. I would go for Israel's, desalination plant. So for those of you guys who don't know, most of Israel's water comes from the sea. They desalinate it and they pump it out to the people so they can drink. So then in 3 to 5 days, I guess, the Israelis will start to run out of water. And it's not a very good day when you run out of water. It's not, believe me. Right, I'm jumping to the bottom again, guys. I'm jumping to the bottom. Right, listen, guys, I'm looking at the time. I'm looking at the time. I'm going to start to close this live stream down. Travis saying, the so-called boom, boom, bang, bang was just advanced drones making noises. I don't know what that means. What I think that means, reading between the lines, what I think that means is the initial waves of Iranian attacks were just the cheap kit and equipment being wasted, used to deplete Western air defense. Gerald of Riviera is saying the 20. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Let me Google it. What is? I don't think there is one, right? Oh, right. Ratified in 1967. Every day is school day, ladies and gentlemen. The 25th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution clarifies presidential succession and incapacity. It ensures the vice president becomes president if the incumbent dies, resigns, or is removed. It also allows the vice president and cabinet to declare a president unfit to discharge their duties. Right, okay. So, no, I don't think Donald Trump's going anywhere. I don't think Donald Trump's going anywhere. He's got a job to do. He's got a job to do, and he's carrying it out. Like, you guys remember with Keir Starmer, right? Can you guys remember that guy, Keir Starmer? He's like the prime minister of some... Like, do you guys know who Keir Starmer is? He's like... I don't know. He's the leader of this third world country somewhere. I can't remember what they call it. But can you remember how everybody was saying like, oh, Keir Starmer's going to resign. He's got to resign. Scandal after scandal. Rent boys, Mandelson, money. No, I was quite clear. I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, Starmer's going nowhere. Going nowhere. He's got a job to fulfill, and he will fulfill that job. Also, just as a quick, can you remember the when Keir Starmer was doing that, like he was doing like that, I don't know, it's like a promotional video or something, and he said, right, that's phase 1 over, let's start with phase 2. And I was like, what you start with phase 2? So you're saying that we've had a successful phase 1? Like, if anyone's ever done any military operations, you don't move into phase 2 unless phase 1's complete. You don't do it. It's not a thing. Like, it makes no sense. You need to complete the objectives on phase 1. So they're telling us what's coming. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, okay? If you guys are on and you've not done so already, please hit those buttons down below. The like, follow, subscribe, bell notification, all those things that get me giddy, guys. All those things that get me giddy. Google Enos is saying, yeah, US citizens abroad are now being targeted. This was always going to happen. We're in a war, and in wars, bad things happen. Donna is saying, Iran military media is chilling warning. We advise you to charge your mobile phones, store drinking water, and learn Persian immediately. Look, I'm Team West. I'm Team West. I don't want an Islamist. I don't want any Islamists, actually, in charge of anything other than nothing, actually. Take yourself out of the situation, right? And try and look in that situation. What have the Iranians got to lose? Like those desalination plants, guys, I would be setting up to strike them now regardless. I would just think, yeah, what? And what are you going to do, Donald Trump? You're going to, right. What I would say if I was the Iranians, I would say, right, okay. Donald Trump says he's going to attack these desalination plants in 48 hours if we don't open the Strait of Hormuz. Right, yeah, right. Are we going to open the Strait of Hormuz? Not a chance. Right, well, he's going to strike us. So while we've got power, while we've got energy, let's just unleash hell. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, guys? Right, guys, there's so many comments. There's so many comments. I'm really struggling with them all. So I do apologize if I'm not able to get everyone's comments. Hang on. Tim Linsky is saying, and I agree with you, Sean. Thank you so much, Tim. Googly's got another comment. 3 rush to hospital. There's an explosion in Rome. Oh, God, I'm going to have to talk about this. Right, from the Daily Mail, 3 emergency service have rushed 3 people into hospital and evacuated dozens after an explosion tore through 3 apartment buildings in Rome. The blast tore through a residential street in somewhere in Rome. I can't pronounce it. Piana del Sol, I think. Today, with local media reported that it was caused by the detonation of gas cylinders buried in a back garden. Bit odd. Okay. What? Jesus. Right. I'm looking at the pictures now. The pictures are right. Let me share. I'll share this picture with you. This is the picture that I'm getting. Yeah, that's pretty epic, right? That is pretty epic. What's the next one? Yeah, that's whatever. I don't believe anything. Oh, that's not the right one. I don't believe anything I get on the media right now, guys. I really don't. I just, we know that the media gloss over things. We know that, especially in the United Kingdom, they don't report certain crimes because they're scared, you know. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down. You guys have been fantastic and amazing and beautiful. Your comments have been the best. They've been the most articulate. They've been the most intelligent. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. I hope to see you there. Don't be late, 10 o'clock in the morning. And on that bombshell, oh, hang on a minute. Sean, wait! Right, I'll wait. Fiona Flynn is saying night all. Night all, take care. Chachu, I don't know what that means, but chachu to everyone as well. Songbird is saying armor of God, truth and salvation. I'm waiting for Googleinos. He said wait. I don't like, he said wait like miles away, like up here. Like he said wait, and I'm wait. I don't know what he's gonna say. Is he gonna? I don't know. It might have. I know he always gets me at the last post. He's like wait. Sean, you asked me to let you know about my uncle that was at the D-Day landings. Oh God, 4 paws, man. Honestly, I hope you're proud of him. You know, all I can say is he had a good life. 101. 101's a fantastic age to get to. You know, my granddad, sadly, he died at 75. So, you know, I think you should be proud. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down. I think Googleinos has gone. Anyway, I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10. Don't be late. Back on at 8 in the evening, and I'll try and get on as much as I can in the day. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, I will bid you good night. I'll see you in the morning.